Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe from this COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Our best line of defense against this virus right now is social distancing, which of course means that we've all been working from home quite a bit. Now, we've all probably worked from home in the past for a week or two or even a month, but prior to this pandemic induced lockdown, I wasn't really used to working from home on an ongoing basis for such a prolonged period of time. And so I found it really challenging to strike that balance between being hyper productive and not becoming a reclusive hermit. After a whole lot of trial and error, though, I think I finally figured out what works and what doesn't work. And so I thought of creating this video to share with you some of the tips, tricks, and techniques that I have picked up over the past few weeks that help me stay in the zone without losing my mind when I'm working from home. My name is Swapnil Gyani, and here are the 9 best practices for working from home effectively. Let's get started. Now, the very first thing you'll want to do when working remotely is set up a schedule for yourself and follow it rigorously. Define set times to begin and end your workday and even schedule your breaks. Once you've defined your schedule, be sure to follow it rigorously as this step is key to working from home effectively. Tip number 2, define a morning routine for things you will do before you begin your work. Have a chai or coffee, listen to your favorite podcast, work out, take a shower, or go play with your dog. Do whatever floats your boat, but please don't go from your bed directly to your work, as that is a shortcut to insanity. Tip number 3, dress and groom for work. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to put on a business suit every day. That would be a little crazy. Or not, really depends on you. But get out of those pajamas that you slept in and change into something that you can comfortably wear on a video conference. Number 4, have a dedicated workspace. If you have the luxury to sit at a desk and shut the door behind you, that's ideal. If not, find a spot in your home with an uncluttered background and a decent amount of natural light and make that your workspace. At the very least, get out of your bed and make it so that you're always sitting at that one spot when you're working. Tip number 5, use virtual office apps to supercharge your collaboration. You see, when you're working from an office, your team's collective intelligence, memory, and creativity are all boosted through informal chatter, which leads to a free-flowing exchange of ideas and information. You might overhear your colleagues speaking about the details of a task that they are working on, and that may remind you of something that you need to complete, or it may even end up giving you a completely fresh angle on something that you're stuck on. We simply don't have this superpower when we are working by ourselves remotely, but luckily for us, there's a radioactive spider right around the corner in the form of virtual office apps. One of the primary functions of these apps is that they allow you to set up multiple channels for collaboration based on whatever makes the most sense for you and your team. You could set up a different channel for your department, for your office location, for a particular project, or even a topical conversation. Once you've set up these channels and added the right people to them, you can then freely communicate and collaborate with these people almost as seamlessly as you would do in a physical office. Now, there's a pretty decent range of really awesome applications in this category to choose from, but 2 of the most common and successful ones by far are Slack and Microsoft Teams. Get yourself and your team on one of these platforms and supercharge your collaboration. Next, set up a predictable rhythm of communicating with your team. If you either work with or lead a distributed team of people, schedule a daily check-in meeting at the beginning of your workday to help define priorities and clear roadblocks. Now, you can of course use this time for general, non-work related chatter as well, but keep in mind that these meetings are at their most effective when they're kept short and to the point. Allocate about 2 to 3 minutes per person and no more than 30 minutes overall. This will set the tone for the rest of the day and will help you focus on what's most important for you. Speaking of focus, I find it particularly difficult to tune in and manage my time effectively when I'm working by myself. This is where the pomodoro technique comes in handy. Pomodoro is a really simple but effective time management technique where you break down your workday into 30-minute blocks of time. For each 30-minute block, work for the first 25 minutes and chill for the last 5. When you complete 4 such blocks, reward yourself with a longer break of about 20 minutes. Next, get some physical activity. It's all too easy to stay glued to your desk when you're working by yourself, even when you're on a break. Don't fall into this unhealthy trap. Get up from your chair, stretch, take a walk around the house, or break into a little dance number. Remember those 5-minute breaks you're supposed to take as part of the pomodoro technique? Well, use the first minute or so of that time doing one of these activities. And while you're at it, go and get some fresh air as well. And that brings me to the final rule of the Fight Club: communicate with your family repeatedly. Now, this one's probably a bit cultural, but in many parts of the world, one of the trickier challenges of working from home is to have your family understand that you're indeed at work. When I had just started working from home, my family had a difficult time initially understanding that I wasn't taking the day off. But eventually they did, and it became the new normal. The only solution is repeated, persistent, and patient dialogue with the family to help them understand the situation. Also, this next part probably goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. It doesn't help when you tell your family that you're working, but then they hear that cool Netflix show playing in the background constantly. That breaks the illusion somewhat. On the other hand, when you tell your family that you're working and then they see you following through on that consistently, they will get used to this new fact eventually, and it will become the new normal. Just be patient and understand that all of this is new for them as well. So, that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully, these tips will help you master the art and science of working from home effectively. Stay safe and take very good care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.